They will have to change their second pick, though, considering probably don't just want to go for a blind Lissandra. I mean, you could, but, right, they took it knowing what Rookie had in the mid lane in Game 2.
I think that's the thing. They don't have to take the Talia here if they do not want to. I think for Ultra Prime, you can still lock in your jungle. If V5 want to go for the Talia now on the second rotation of picks, that's when you can lock in the Lissandra. You get that counter pick going for yourself. Or you're able to pick the, you know, whatever you want in terms of the mid lane and then go for bans if they do not pick it on the side of V5. So Ultra Prime, despite obviously staying on the red side for 3 games now in a row, they are starting to pick up the tricks of the trade, if you will. They're starting to see that, honestly, right now, you have to pick the Sivir Yuumi. You can't let this one open, so they're going to be able to ban away the Talia on the second round, or pick it for themselves and ban away the Lissandra, or even things that they feel can counter it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I like Ultra Prime kind of sticking to their guns, going towards jungle first, and also kind of making sure they have that same teamfight tool, yet still have the engage options available. And now, I'm curious to see which of these pools gets pinched. I mean, for Ultra Prime, you already hit on the Talia. Could be something you ban, but it's also been one of Cryin's go-to champions. And we were talking a lot throughout the split that other than Rookie, Cryin actually has looked like one of the players to excel on the pick. So maybe leave that something open that you yourselves could look to go towards.
Absolutely, and honestly, I'm just loving the confidence from Ultra Prime. They've come in with a game plan. This feels invigorating. Of course, it is a little bit too little too late in terms of the season standings, but you can make V5's life a living hell right now. V5 lose this, then they're very firmly out of the conversation for top 4, or top 4, excuse me. They're already guaranteed top 4, but definitely out of the conversation for top 2, because they'll be then 11-4 with 4 losses. They would need JDG to lose later. Actually, they wouldn't even be able to catch JDG, so yeah, they would just be in top 3, top 4. That would be the most they could hope for.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, V5 would kind of have to be accepting their position in terms of buys, most likely, and where they end up. I like that V5 are actually the one to target the mid pool, because I think when you look at what each side could be targeting, I think out of the pools, Cryin much more limited than Rookie is on the opposing side, to where for up, you're kind of concerned for Zoom. I don't think you're necessarily concerned about Rich himself, but if you can set Zoom up for success and you know that you can't ban Rookie out in the mid lane, that kind of mixing the pool is a little bit better. We still do have the Lissandra open, which is something that Cryin could go for, and I like that V5 take that away. So not too many findable champions. The Ahri being the one that stands out to me, probably the best thing left open.
Yeah, I like the Silas ban, though, from Ultra Prime. It has been something that V5 have been putting into top lane and, of course, into mid, so can keep that guessing game going. Even though you're on blue side, it's hard to keep that guessing game going, even with the 2 picks. But something that Rookie is exceptional at, but something that hasn't been picked up right yet has been the Sejuani for Zoom. And we talked about it in game number 2 when we saw Rich constantly taking this base. It has looked like Zoom's best pick so far this split. Still looked good on the Ornn, but the Sejuani has definitely been the preference for him. And we're going to see a swap in the top side matchup.
Yeah, and I also think it does 2 things. Since you're not going for R, I think if you go for Ahri there as Ultra Prime, it opens up Rookie to go LeBlanc. And I think you don't want to face Rookie's LeBlanc. Rookie's LeBlanc is one of his most terrifying champions. They will just do the reverse. You give over the Ahri, you go for the LeBlanc yourself. And now having some ability to go aggressive in this mid lane matchup. I mean, both mid jungles have some power. I think Ultra Prime definitely bringing a little bit more burst to the table with the LeBlanc as compared to the Ahri on the opposing side, and kind of flipping the script where I feel like Ultra Prime coming out with a little bit of the stronger top side earlier on with what they're able to do, but V5 having a bit of that scaling, coming out with the Ornn ultimate, and having those same AoE team fighting tools that we praised Ultra Prime for having in game 1 now on their side.
Yeah, I will say that the Ahri is still a pretty scary thing to go up against. It is 21 games of Ahri for Rookie in his career. He's 16-5 on that particular pick, but did pick up a loss against OMG in his most recent series. So
1-2 out of the split overall.
Yes, not having an exception. I think both of those games were against OMG. I think it was 1 win, 1 loss. So definitely something to be looking into, see if Rookie's able to have that kind of stellar performance that we all know and love from him. But honestly, I love what Ultra Prime have brought to the table. I feel like Ultra Prime have kind of said, look, we know where our strength lies. It's going to be on Elk on this Zeri. We feel like that's where we can carry. And having Hacker on top of the Xin Zhao just worked wonders for them as well. So this is feeling like a little bit more comfort from Ultra Prime. And for V5, they've got answers themselves, but they're going to have to make sure that their execution's a little bit more on point.
Yeah, and even looking towards the mid lane, right, for Cryin, people might not associate this pick with him because of his tenure in RNG, but you think back to 2020 on E-Star, and this was a pick that I believe, had a 100% win rate on in 2020. Was only 3 games, was something that he was comfortable pulling out and finding wins on. So we'll see if he's going to be able to do it here again against you know, probably the best mid laner to ever play in the LPL. I don't think that is I don't think that's an understatement. We have some great mid laners.
We do have some great mid laners. I will say the conversation for Xiaohu probably in my head. Oh, Rich, he's here, but they must know the rest of them are here as well. This is a repeat of game number 1. As they look to try and maybe take this ward. I don't think your life's worth it, Rich, and he's going to take a lot of damage. It is still very early on in the game, but they're still kind of running in on top of this one here. Still putting down the damage. The ethereal chains lands. Xiaolanbao, he's ignited, he's dead, and it goes on to the Zeri. What are you doing, V5?
Ultra Prime starting off with a lead after level 1 once again, getting it on their prime time carry who can look to take over a game. That's going to be feeling good. The silver lining for V5 is the fact that they didn't burn any summoners, which can look to be repunished. But still, up going to start with a bit of a lead in terms of what they're bringing to lane. And I mean, I like how we get the instant replay of what happened. They walk in, they don't put the ward down, they do just try and face check and then try to contest it. And it just opens up for so much poke damage to come down onto Rich. The members have to start running away. And then the lockdown there onto the Wukong. Tough start. And now look, Cull plus Longsword, 4
I
Elk.
was going to say, like, Longsword and Cull, Elk's delighted with this early game start. Not only that, but it also forces Xiaolanbao to start with his decoy. Not the greatest at clearing. It's fine. It's still good, but it's like you definitely want to try and get a little bit more damage, I feel like, in the start of this if you're clear. But now, you just don't have the priority here. You don't have the damage. You're going to be losing out in the trades. And it's just, yeah, this is the perfect start for Ultra Prime.
You can already see both junglers pathing towards the bot side as well, and with Up having that prio, it's going to open up opportunities for Hacker to play around. Both mid and bot, I think, are prime opportunities for Ultra Prime. I feel like if you're playing with bot, a lot of it might still just be enabling Hacker to try and invade the enemy jungle, because as we've seen with this matchup, now getting it 3 times in a row, right? We haven't actually seen a lot of, like, trades that are able to force enemy bot lane low enough health to where dives look feasible. So I feel like a lot of it's actually just going to be playing through Hacker and trying to see if you can get an advantage onto your jungler.
I will say, look, we had a lot of criticisms, I think, for Zoom. I think Zoom's definitely felt the pressure of going from arguably one of the best top laners in our league in 2020 to not really having a great time at the moment. As you can see, Hacker and Xiaolanbao going to have to go a nice little dodge back at you there by XLB as he puts down the decoy there, and Hacker's going to have to be forced to flash, you would imagine, but he's got his teammates coming in, flash in, the shield is there. Still burns a summoner, and Hacker, that's, I get it, the adrenaline's there. You got yourself a bit of momentum on bot side. You're not that strong. You're still, you know, the Wukong's still pretty good.
I think the idea is coming from what we just hit on about, like, hey, you have this prio on bot, like playing through Hacker, using that prio, but you're invading through mid, you're immediately running into Xiaolanbao. It's not going to give the opportunity to where you have that security in your bot lane. And I mean, heck, even V5's bot lane looked more ready to respond than Elk or Miaoniu coming in for the save. So overall, just a nice response from V5, and you hit on it, kind of Xiaolanbao being able to dodge out on some of that damage with his clone really seemed like the true MVP.
I like what they're trying to do here, Miaoniu and Elk trying to see if they could maybe make something work there. As we might see Rich getting a little bit in. The Arctic Assault doesn't quite land, and they have got the Ignite here as both top laners going down. Tick, tick, not gonna boom. But this, again, this is showing that Zoom is honestly just got Rich's number right now. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, before we had that move down the bot side, Zoom's had a great series. I think we've had a lot of criticisms for him. He's definitely looked very uncomfortable in terms of the picks he's been on. But this has been a much brighter, a much fresher start for him in this series. And we have probably seen them all split.
And I think part of it's also him being left on an island. One of the things that perplexed me about Ultra Prime early on in the split is that you looked where Hacker was playing, and actually a lot of it was towards Zoom. A lot of prio being into him. He had the highest jungle proximity on the team, and that really just didn't fit with the way that you imagine Ultra Prime winning games, through how aggressively their bot lane was playing, especially when Xiaoxi was on the roster. So, you know, Xiaoxi's absolutely bloodthirsty as compared to Miaoniu, who looks a lot more content kind of playing this enchanter role.
Yeah, it does feel like the stylistic change in the supports has definitely helped out Ultra Prime. I feel like Miaoniu has fit better in terms of how they want to try and play this one and how they want to try and make their advantages known, but it is going to be curious to see now. Again, we talked about it in the last game. We talked about it pretty much all series because we've seen it all series. The Ornn has a much easier time of landing his ultimate. It's also AoE, so we can get much more value out of it. So it's going to be about more how Zoom is able to make this one work. As we can see now, ppgod and Photic He's kind of being harassed down constantly right now. You can see Elk and Miaoniu want to go for that early reset, and they should be able to get themselves back out on the map. I will say, though, in that brush, they might get paused out, but V5, they're not willing to stop the back just yet. But Ultra Prime, they want to stop their own.
Yeah, they're being a little bit sneaky. Might even wait a second to show on the wave to, like, give V5
the waiting for the
false sense of security, to go for that reset. Doesn't actually go through, but Ultra Prime's bot lane's so safe. Look at the minimap and how many wards Ultra Prime have around the bot side. They're sitting around mid, they're sitting in bot tri-brush. Looks like Xiaolongbao finally going to clear some out, but they're opening up these trades to come through.
Oh, the Ignite came out, but the heal had to be used there by ppgod. He actually lost his exhaust as well, not quite up on that. So this is the problem when you have these two combat summoners. They're great, but if they're not in sync with each other, that power loses itself. It doesn't really give you the same level of control as we can see now. Ooh, Rookie going toe-to-toe with Cryin, and Cryin's kind of finding the best of him right now. Cryin actually did get the reset off because Cryin does have himself a TP, as you do have the spell book here and the cleanse for rookies. So Cryin making the most of this early matchup.
Really nice seeing him piloted as well. This is something we hit on earlier when we thought this matchup could come out. Just LeBlanc having some better trade patterns in the VR. You have the mobility, so you're able to dodge out on a lot of this damage. You get interface. If you can land the chain, you just hard win out. Of course, also having the electrocute as well, so having that damage rune as compared to the spellbook coming out from Rookie to find that utility in team fights.
All right, we're kind of slowing down a bit now. We obviously had the bit of skirmishing towards that bot side. It is just slowing down a little bit more. So let's have a look at how both these teams want to try and work themselves up now that we are getting level 6s. Now we are starting to see big power spikes. I'm going to have to stop you, though, straight away, Lyric. Before you can start, I'm going to have to stop you because we're going to have a skirmish because XLB is looking for an invade, but it's been called here by Zoom, and they just want the red buff right now. I think this is going to give level 6 to either of the junglers.
Yeah, looks like they're going to go for it. And Rookie having the ult available, they're going to have to be careful. But Zoom has the lockdown.
He has the lockdown. The smite comes out. That's going to go over to XLB, but he's not quite able to survive. Now you're going to have yourselves another bit of a fight here as Rookie's got himself a Spirit Rush, and Zoom goes down. No flash to keep him safe. Miaoniu is there, but it's just way too late. And that topside skirmishing power has come to fruition here for V5.
Yeah, V5, I believe it was Rookie who did get his reset off first. You come back to lane. They actually had Wave pushing in and topside, which gave Rich that ease of access straight in, and they're able to find the invade. I feel like for Ultra Prime, you should typically be looking for like plays through mid first if you want to look to try and counterpunch. This one, not much you can do because V5 are obviously already here on the objective. And then having things available like the Call of the Forge God, you can see instantly locking up the Zhao so the damage is able to connect. Zoom's ultimate only connecting onto the Ornn, so not a lot of value from there when it's sitting onto the tank, and then just being left in a little bit of no man's land after he jumped in following his own ultimate.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate for Ultra Prime. Great for V5 and V5 fans alike. There's now Cryin looking to see if he can make a roam up towards this top side. I will say with the amount of resets that had to come in here for V5, they won't have the priority over the Dragon, or excuse me, the Rift Herald just yet. Oh, but you've been caught out. You can't see when it happens, Cryin. The double distortion, maybe a flash in. Ooh, oh! Flash away. Nicely done there by Cryin, but it does stop the Rift Herald from being taken here by Ultra Prime.
Overall, trading flash for flash, jungle mid, I think is all right, but Xiaolongbao pulling that trigger on that ult extremely fast, not having the damage to lock Cryin to like finish Cryin off. If they could, they could have potentially turned into even more kills for the side of E5. But still, looks like Rookie should be able to deny at least part of a wave from Cryin. He is pushing that one in. And with this prio, you honestly could even just look to re-lean back towards topside. Maybe a blue buff handoff going to come through as well, as Rookie very low on mana.
Yeah, Rich is thinking about going forward here. Doesn't have flash and doesn't have his Ornn horn, so he is dead. Rich shall become poor. And whoa, look at the kill feed. Elk got himself a kill. You can see Rookie and Xiaolongbao on the top side, but they're not going to be able to do anything. We're going to need a replay on what happened bot side because Ultra Prime are taking over.
Now we're going to get plates. Now Photic's losing CS, and I mean, this is going to turn into like a 20 CS lead for Elk down here in the bot lane. And the gold is just going to completely skyrocket. I'm already a little bit terrified for V5. The like okay thing going into this game, if it goes a little bit longer and you do have to contend with this Fed Zeri, at least now they have a ton of lockdown. Like, look at their whole top side. But still, like, you don't want to get in that position where you're just thinking like, hey, at least we have CC to deal with this Fed Zeri, right? You don't want to be dealing with the Fed Zeri.
No, you don't want to have to be in a position where you say, how do we deal with a Zeri? That's not exactly ideal. But Cryin now, maybe in a bit of a trouble as he does have himself a bit of a knock-up to deal with. Hacker is there, but he's already put down the damage, and Cryin will go down. Not quite sure what the thought process was that for there. And now Hacker, who had to try and bail out his top or his mid laner, is also very, very low. The Spirit Rush is good. I don't know what's going on the top side of the map for Ultra Prime. They seem to be trying to just make things happen for no real reason.
Asheen, I love it. We don't know what's going on the top side for Ultra Prime. We don't know what's happening in the bot side for V5. We're having a race on our hands. Who can carry harder? We're going to get to see how this happens. Oh, being sneaky, waiting over the wall, instantly dashing in, throw out the W, get the damage. Ult proc as well immediately. Just able to run him down. I love flashing forward by Elk as well to just make sure that comes through. Elk landed absolutely everything in that first sequence of the engage. W hits, ult damage land. You have the bonus damage coming out as well, and just able to run down the Sivir.
Yeah, and all summoners were burnt like you saw. The flashes, the cleanses, the ignite. Basically, ppgod has his heal, but he only has that because it was actually on cooldown for that last fight. So still having those summoners off kilter, not having access to them at the exact same time does mitigate the power of it. We talked about it just a little bit, but now Rift has been taken here. Dragon's going to be started, and it looks like Ultra Prime finally going to say, look, we just need to kind of stop trying to force things on top side. Let's stop being greedy, and let's just work to our advantage, which is what?
Great to see the readjustment, kind of accept it's going to be hard to win on that top side of the map. Kind of easy to say right now when there's nothing on the top side worth taking, but just if I can keep this up going forward, right? If next Herald comes and you're not rotating your bot lane up towards the top side, it's like, okay, looks like it's going to be tough with the advantage that they found. Just keep looking for opportunities down here. But speaking of opportunities, Xiaolongbao going to be the one. But, I mean, Ultra Prime have done a great job of keeping up this vision line in bot side river to not let these plays happen.
I see what you did there. Ultra Prime kept up their vision line. Good job.
It's too hard.
You're a professional. You're a professional. You are a professional, and that's what I like to see right now, Lyric. You know, just like to see you coming out with the big guns. You know, maybe keep a little bit of it in the tank. We still got one more series left to do. So you know, keep yourself fresh with some of those ideas. But well, you know, like where you're going at the moment. But Riftel gets dropped down into mid lane. So Ultra Prime now trying to defend this one, and she's just crying, really trying to defend this one. But Shelly shall get to do her favorite thing. She'll get the bop her head against the wall. You almost got an Immortal Shield Bow right now for Elky as well on his way to getting that first item completed for himself. With the first dragon picked up as well. Nice solo Drake. Actually, honestly, the two first Drakes are fantastic just in terms of their actual their value as independent Drakes who don't need no team, but don't need no soul. There you go.
Yeah.
Figure it out on the fly. And yeah, we're kind of coming back down into a low Ultra Prime slight gold lead, but it's going to come down to how they're able to utilize this area. I feel like Elk's in a fantastic position to carry this game, but now he needs to do it. Now he needs to figure it out on how he's going to make this one work for his team. Ooh,
I gotta say though, if we wait.
No,
no
shielding.
damage.
Shielding was good. Shielding was good. But now we're on the top side. 2v2. But I don't know if you want this 2v2 right now, as we are going to see there's the Ornn coming out, and that's going to be Zoom dead. So guess what? I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Ornn is a counter into Sejuani. That's what it is now, because we've seen it multiple times today, and it's just not won. The Sejuani just can't do anything against it.
I just remember maybe like 2 minutes ago, you're like, hey, look at Ultra Prime. They've learned. They're getting dragged. They're playing around their bot side.
And then what did they do?
You would point out the mythic advantage there for the side of V5. Rich has his mythic Zoom, only sitting on Bomby Cinder here. They go in. They don't read that Xiaolongbao is going to make the counter gank. And then even coming out from Hacker to make sure that this comes through. And then instantly getting deleted. Even with this back, Zoom not close to his first item. Looks like he... just a very rough situation coming out for the top side of Ultra Prime.
Yeah, that's
kind of half-heartedly going towards the Frozen Heart now instead of just finishing off that Frostfire Gauntlet.
Yeah, it just feels like that is a moment of like actual question mark pings being justified. But ooh, flash by Cryin trying to catch out the Wukong. Look at the double distortion and the W slow. The Zeri is the combination you want right there. That was confident from Ultra Prime, but they knew they had the resources.
Ultra Prime at least making some big moves to punish some of the members on V5 that are large and in charge. They even got tons of good wards in the enemy jungle, so anytime Xiaolongbao is around that bottom half of the map, Ultra Prime will know. The thing we're kind of looking for is Ultra Prime to be able to catch up in items, right? Because both support and mid still sitting on no item. Hacker has the Kempung Chainsword, but the stats you're going to be getting from the Divine Sunder are going to be quite nice, and him already being pretty close to his second item. So in a minute 30, when that Dragon's up, when second Rift Herald's up, I think that's when V5 are going to be fighting at full force.
Ooh,
Or maybe now.
No, Exhaust has to come out. He did get exhausted. Now Miaoniu in a little bit of trouble on his own. He might have to use his flash just to get away from this oncoming Sivir. The Boomerang Blade not going to connect with this combination when you have got that 2-item spike here. Now, and what I mean by 2-item, I mean the Mythic for the Yuumi and the Mythic for the Sivir. You have to respect the damage that can come out.
And, Elk having no ultimate available, just some of these like small things being the difference makers in this scenario. Even the combat sums all being up for Victory 5, as we're going to go into the replay of what we saw just a few moments ago of Cryin. Oh, I love it. Distorts over the wall, goes for the flash to be able to land the chain, and then still manages to get it off. It actually locked him doon before his Mimic Distortion or was able to come through to be able to guarantee that.
These are little moments there. You won't get a kill there for V5, but you will get yourself a significant summoner advantage. No summoners now onto Miaoniu, and of course the cleanse burnt by Elk, meaning that you will have an opportunity to maybe burn him down with a charm or something like that. Miaoniu, you are by yourself, my dude. You need a lead. There are 3 members of V5. Yeah, get out. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200. But now, with the rest of his team, he can start to maintain vision control. As the next Dragon's going to be spawning. If you get a second Drake here as Ultra Prime, as we mentioned before, these single Drakes have a significant amount of damage. And speaking of which, Cryin is going to lose his passive as the Ornn has already come out. TP comes in here for Zoom as he joins in on the fight. The W from Zeri not going to land onto anybody, but Cryin has got TP, so he's going to be able to go back and join back into this fight.
Yeah, it's going to be rough because Rookie taking extremely low as well doesn't have that same freedom to look for the back. Oh, now up for ppgod could be the difference maker to try to run some of the members of Ultra Prime down.
Oh, they landed on the showdown bow, the perfect target when you want to try and fight for this dragon. Rich shall no longer live, and that's going to be a shutdown going over to the Zeri. That's a good final chapter, though, as Zeri does eventually fall down. Rookie is very low, he flashes, but he gets himself back over the wall. Not quite able to outplay it. Photic still doing some significant work here, and maybe wants to try and look for this one. Cryin, though, needs to be very careful. There's some decent damage, and you've got a Yuumi on your back as well, 3v2.
And looks like V5 wanting to contend. Photic just waiting in the wings. Probably just going to hope to steal it with his Q, as he's really not committing to a play whatsoever. Probably a good call, but Ultra Prime able to secure it in the end. That was a close one and a dicey one, despite the fact that Photic didn't even start off in the fight.
No, it was a 4v5 right at the back of it. And again, even the start before that was Cryin chunking out Rookie and forcing the Ornn. But let's have a look at this one here, because great ult from Zoom just to separate XLB from his team.
Yeah, finds the ult, and you look at the minimap, Sivir nowhere around, has to walk completely the other way, challenging about getting CC down, Cryin even chaining his chain along with it so they can keep just going down on these members. But look at the damage that Photic's getting off now that he's in the fight with those ricochets, and then Rookie able to join in as well, force Hacker over the wall, and then make sure another member goes down of Ultra Prime.
I will say, though, Ultra Prime got the dragons. That's 2 Drakes in the bag. You now have 2 items onto Elk. That works together because it's 2 of a kind, a pair, if you will. And Ultra Prime has 2 letters in their acronym. So there you go. Lots of 2s coming out. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. As we see now what the side of Ultra Prime can do with this, because I feel like V5, they're going to be the ones that need to be a bit more creative. They're the ones that are going to need to try and find out where people are, as Miaoniu might fancy to try and take this one out. Bot lane turret does go down. They're not going to get Photic to reset just yet, but they've got Hacker. Oh no, it's terrible. They're going to have to force the TP, but immediately you haven't committed anything, but the TP actually gets cancelled. Not quite sure by what. I actually think it was Zoom's ultimate. And now Photic's caught between a rock and a hard place. The cat is out of the bag as he tries to run for his life. And they get 2 kills. Yes, you are not able to get everything else out of it from the side of V5. But Ultra Prime are just running them around the map.
Yeah, Ultra Prime able to get 2 kills, able to get a turret off of that as well. So already getting more than because coming off the Herald is Rookie. Rookie's a sneaky little fella and able to get a kill back onto Elk. And I mean, it's a nice silver lining, but Ultra Prime definitely trading way up in that scenario.
I mean, Miaoniu. He's still trading up, my friend. He's got a Spirit Rush. You're dead. You're not going to do it. So 2 kills back. Rookie actually 100% brings that play back, at least a little bit for the side of V5. They still lose the 2 towers, so there's the structures. But yeah, V5 very much on the ropes after that.
I feel like on the Twitch poll, we have to stop putting V5 and just put like Rookie versus Ultra Prime. And like
honestly,
like that, that is, if you're banking or supporting V5, you're banking on Rookie to get the job done. 5-1-3 on the Ahri so far. Really feels like he has to be the big savior for the side of V5 because Cryin on the opposing side also very large. 4-1-3 on the LeBlanc. Already has 2 items of Ludens and the Banshees completed as well. We'll see a replay of how it gets done. Hacker actually backing out, not expecting Zoom to, I guess, to cancel the Ornn TP from coming through. He's able to do it. Elk already getting a ton of damage down just over the terrain with the W and with some of the Qs. Then once Hacker does rejoin up, they're able to secure some of these ones. But then
Elk,
sadly,
just go home. Why are you pushing this? Just go home.
I mean, he did go home, right? And actually,
true.
He,
It's a faster
he got home
reset.
faster. There we go. There we
Again,
go.
as I said, any other region does something that's slightly questionable. It's just like, oh, that was int. LPL does it. It's just like, nah, man, here's the reason. It's like the massive amount of copium that we just inhale just to make sure we sound good. But
now, I think the difference is like, you can be like, that's int, but then you also have like the other end of the spectrum of like, oh my god, what was that play? It was insane, you know?
That's what I love about the LPL, though. The LPL literally lives on the line of like, oh my god, they're trolling, to oh my god, they're literally the greatest players to ever play the game. Like, that's just how LPL is. Horn, but everyone's kind of disengaging right now. Miaoniu going to flash away because the big old ghost goat was coming at them. And now we got Cryin who TP'd in. Photic already taking a lot of damage. He's going to be completely out of this fight. Very short range AD carry, but the charm lands onto the Lulu. It is Rookie versus the world. Rookie trying to just drag V5 as best as he possibly can through this game, and he's still not done. Still has some spirit rushes. Hacker gets charmed, but you're going to be losing Ornn. Never mind, it's a Yuumi because she's absolutely full crap. And never mind, the Ignite is good enough from Zoom to take him down. Ends up being a 1-for-1, but Cryin is still hunting, and it does feel like it's going to be down to these 2 mid laners, 2 assassins looking to get on the backside.
Yeah, both of them trying to play the edges of these fights, and both doing a wonderful job. I mean, Rookie trying to charge the Cryin. Not going to be able to find anything. Everyone going to back out in the end, but at least keeps Ultra Prime having the setup for the Drake. They're going to actually go for some resets right now, so if V5's members do just opt to stay on the map, they should be able to keep this up, but maybe some items, some wards going to be able to come out for Ultra Prime, deny some vision with the control wards in their inventory. But, I mean, this just came out of nowhere, right? V5 just randomly like, hey, pull the trigger, not able to lock anyone down. Cryin gets some good damage done, but look at Rookie on the side. Goes in, lands everything onto the Lulu, and then they're able to get away. They're able to skirt out, but oh my, I don't know if we have time for this replay. Both teams incredibly close.
Yeah, they're very, very close. The charm goes wide, but I will say, look at that. 3 items now for the Zeri. Elk is online and doing significant damage. Forgone the Infinity Edge, but knows he has the Lord Dominic's regard to start shredding through this Wukong and Ornn. So now, Dragon's going to be started. As we can see now, Rookie no longer has the Banshees, but neither does Cryin. Both mid laners not without that safety as they try to go forward in. Dragon has been started and down to about 7,000 HP, but Ultra Prime, they don't want to fully commit to this one just yet. They know they need to get the poke down before they can make this one work. Rookie gets hit by a W, but it's not doing exceptional damage just yet. Dragon, 3,000 HP. You need to get XLB in here if you want to try and make this one work. There's the Ornn coming out. He's going to try and get the Crescent Guard down. The Dragon's still doing some damage, and no one's really kind of focusing it right now. A lot of ultimates have been used. A lot of damage is coming out as we go in. Stolen! V5 will stop the stacking right now, but can they get themselves out of this fight? ppgod, he's been left. Not quite yet, but Photic comes back in and says, I'm sorry, my lord. Get back into my pocket as we go back and try and take this fight. But Elk is pushing forward. Elk is looking huge. He still gets some resets. He's looking to try and take down Rookie, but not quite able to get him. The Everfrost was good enough. It ends up being a none for 1 in favor of V5. As I say that, it's a 2 for none in favor of V5, and they got the Dragon.
Yeah, and we see Rich TPing out of there before he does go down in the end. I mean, I have no idea how V5 managed to get away with all that they did. Ultra Prime were doing a solid job of like poking them out from Dragon, not allowing them to get in. And I mean, somehow, in the kite back, in the retreat of the fight, that's how V5 managed to find those kills. We see here, Ultra Prime doing a pretty good job of just like hating the Zeri W's, Cryin getting good damage off, not allowing them in the pit, and try and take the Dragon at the same time. Sadly, for Ultra Prime, Smite not there for Hacker. It does come out a little bit after foreshadowing about it to make sure that they have that. And they're trying to chase down some of these members, but they actually open up for Rich to find kills. With members of Ultra Prime trying to chase down the low health carries, it allows for Rich to be able to turn it around. Hits the knockup here, and the damage from the Brittle is... You know, it brings me back to like the time before Ornn got like all those nerfs and just tank stuff in general, right? I mean, tanks have just been hit in all regards, like items, runes, And that was a little bit of a throwback of what Ornn used to do on a regular basis.
And I mean, the best dragon to get right now for the side of V5 is going to be that mountain drake. You think of all the extra resistances you're going to have on this Ornn and Wukong. How the heck? Why are you trying to TP soon? Not quite sure, but you're going to lose that cooldown. So then know that it's going to be a 5v4 for the next couple of seconds.
V5 taking advantage. I mean, they know now. Just sit in the enemy jungle. You can force on top side. If they over-aggress under Rookie Showdown, try and find a pick, you just rotate those other 3 members up, and you pick them off. But they're able to get that pressure. They're able to steal away a red buff and keep up this vision as well if they ever decide they want to opt into some kind of Baron bait. But I think that would be kind of risky with how even the game is still on all fronts. And we kind of talked about Ultra Prime definitely having a little bit of a poke advantage just from the range of the W coming out from Elk, shooting it over terrain. And then LeBlanc, a very good champion at kind of Wing in, throwing out a Q and an E, and just being able to do that, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, it does feel like right now it's V5's turning this one back, but Photic needs to be very careful. Good spell shield there from the AD carry of V5 to make sure he doesn't take too much chip damage, as Cryin needs to make sure he's getting as much damage out off with these distortions. Rookie, though, on the flank of absolute ages, will be able to cut off the wave as well should he choose it. You can see Miaoniu. He thought he was there. Miaoniu was like, oh god, we're overextended. We don't know where Rookie is. And immediately put out the glitter lance to make sure they didn't get caught. But Cryin now moving forward. They're already getting significant damage there onto Rich, and he's going to be able to heal that up with the Yuumi, no problem.
I can still understand what Ultra Prime are looking
Here
for.
we go.
Rookie.
Yeah, Rookie's going to be looking for the fight. They're going to find out Hacker. He's all by himself. They will land the Glacial Prison from the Sejuani, but that's not going to be good enough. And now you have the inside track and the wave. V5 have come alive, and V5 are starting to put down the pressure. Ultra Prime, you have this massive Zeri, but can you make it work? You're 5v4. They're not quite able to get the damage just yet. They do lose the Banshees, or excuse me, the Spell Shield from Photic. No Banshees on Rookie, but they will break open the base as V5 just barrel themselves forward.
And a lot of it comes down to, like you said, we're not seeing the damage stick like we were around Dragon, where Elk's W's were just hitting, chunking them down low. He had numerous times, Cryin as well. Rich doing a nice job of staying in that frontline formation, having ppgod with him, being able to tank. Is Cryin just going to fish for it, but not going to be able to find anything. And next Dragon already coming up. I feel like last Dragon fight happened like 30 seconds ago. Where's the time gone?
It's been a long game. Like, we're coming up to 28 minutes right now, nearly 30, but it's felt like we are just breakneck speed because these fights are constant, these fights are consistent, and we are starting to see full 3 items coming out right now. You finally got your 3rd item here onto Photic, so he's matching on the side of Elk, so he's exceptionally huge as well. So you get a good fight as Photic, you're not really going to be in a bad situation. With the Ghost to chase people down, you're going to be doing significant work as well. It's going to come down to whether or not Ultra Prime want to take this fight, but the resistances are significant in my opinion. Like, 2 mountain dragons is huge for something like a Wukong and an Ornn just to try and survive as the front line.
And with upgraded Ornn items coming through as well, right? So it is definitely going to get a little bit rough for Ultra Prime. I mean, Cryin right now doing a significant amount of damage. His target will always be that backline, but still, it feels like he's just going to get to a position where he really isn't going to be able to do all too much if Rich and Xiaolongbao just keep soaking up this damage. I feel like Cryin going to try and find an angle now.
Rookie! He's still on the flank. They don't know he's there. Now they do. They pop down the Scryers. Yeah, they're both looking for the assassination. Now Dragon has been started. The W going down onto Rich again. Not exactly a big deal for V5. Ultra Prime now find themselves with priority over this Dragon. They get away the Banshees of Rookie, so he's going to have to be a little bit more careful with his engage. Xiaolongbao in the Dragon Pit as Ultra Prime now start to move themselves forward. The Ornn comes in, a flash in with the knockup, but there's no real follow-up here onto Elk, who pops down his own ultimate, and they've gotten LeBlanc. They do get the Dragon, though, on Ultra Prime, and that's the sole point. They get themselves the objective, but can they get themselves the fight? Look at Elk. He's really pumping out the damage. It's a 3v3. 2 kills on either side. Flash forward! Elk wants this kill so badly, and he knows that Rookie is his target. He will have to try and back himself away just a little bit as he gets a little bit hypey. Does lose both his summoners, but gains the summoner of Flash from Rookie. But now you're in a bit of a bad situation because Zoom had to go back. Zoom had to deal with the minions, and now you're 2v3.
I mean, I can't believe V5 actually have the confidence to run this down, even if there are numbers there. I mean, you just walk the wrong way, you get hit by that W. Could be deadly. I love how at the end of it all, we just end up trading 2 for 2. Ultra Prime able to get the Dragon, though, is the difference maker. Rich and company do go in, but the fact that they're not able to find ways onto Elk because of Cryin. Cryin gets in, he might go down, but forces him all into the pit, you buy space for Elk to be able to pop off, and Zoom and Miaoniu that whole time, peeling for the AD carry, making sure they're able to take down the opposing front line as well.
It's so close, Lyric. The gold is dead even. The only difference between these teams right now is the fact that Ultra Prime in 3 minutes or 4 minutes time, realistically, have themselves a sole opportunity. They secured the dragon. They're now 4 items onto their Zeri. We are going to get back to game number 2. We are going to start moving towards critical mass, massive moments for both these sides. And it's starting to feel like, it does just feel like it's all on Rookie. If Rookie finds the opportunity, then V5 have an avenue in, but no one else is really kind of doing the heavy lifting.
And let's remember, right, he's on an Ahri. Like, you're building Everfrost. He obviously has things like the Banshees. You're not going for, like, Ludens and going this full, like, pen burst out the enemy route. It is still typically more about picking people off and bringing the utility, which could be hard because Elk, I believe, he's a full item up over Photic, having that IE done, and Cryin still going to be doing work. So feels like Ultra Prime maybe out edging in the damage department right now. Yep, having that IE completed as compared to the other side where Photic does it, even sitting on a stopwatch. So some extra safety for Elk, but he doesn't have his flash available. So both AD carries going to kind of be easy pickings for the opposing teams.
I mean, you can see it there. The W onto Rich finally starting to do some significant damage there onto the Ornn. And even though he is a very, very tanky man with 3 items, 3.5 items actually, he got himself a Bramble Vest as well. He is still just going to be paper in the eyes of an Zeri. I will say very few things in life, I think, win against electricity. I think if a strong enough lightning bolt hits you, no matter what you're doing or what you're wearing, you're going to be dead. So now V5 start off the Baron, but they immediately back themselves away. You do have vision, though, of this from the side of Ultra Prime, as they were far enough up to see them back away off the Baron pit, but they start themselves up again.
V5 having the confidence because Call of the Forge God and Cyclone are available.
Zoom after the salt's out, and you can see that's very tentative right now. Cryin gonna have to distort away. Does lose himself his flash because he got a little bit too aggressive, and that's a big summoner down now for Cryin. Won't have that available to him if the next fight does end up happening. 2 minutes till Dragon spawns, Lyric, and it looks like we're just happy to keep ping-ponging waves.
I think, like, luckily for Cryin, I mean, he's on LeBlanc, right? Has the option to have 2 dashes, so won't be the end of the world as compared to, like, other members potentially losing summoners, right? Like, if you take the Lulu summoner and she gets picked off, can be quite rough. But, yeah, feels like it's all just bringing us back to where we've started and where we've been the whole time, which is these skirmishes around dragons. Ultra Prime, if they can get on objective first, I feel like not only the last fight that we saw them win, but even the fight before that where Rich found those 2 kills. I mean, had Ultra Prime not just tried chasing down all those squishy members and committed to taking down Rich, like, that would have been a teamfight win for Ultra Prime, right? This area right now hitting like an absolute truck.
4,000, well, 3,500 gold is the difference between AD carries. I will say, with Dragon spawning in a minute, I don't think Photic is going to have time for a reset, and I don't think he's going to have his Infinity Edge. So this is probably as good as a moment you're ever going to have here as Ultra Prime to make this one more. Look at Rookie again, hiding, putting himself in the shadows. He shouldn't be Rookie, he should be called Ninja, because the dude is just putting himself in such great positions. But the thing is, you've got yourself an opportunity now as Ultra Prime to say, look, we don't care about the Dragon. You can take it, because we'll get the Baron if you end up putting us, on the other side of the map.
Yeah, they feel fine.
Oh.
XLB.
Elk does have to go golden. You can see XLB just flash in. You can see Photic now getting a lot of it. That's a great knock up there, and this is going to be it. This is going to be the final fight. You've taken down every single damage dealer on the side of Ultra Prime, and it was a tick, tick, boom. One small mistake. V5 will be able to take the series 2-1.
V5, they've been patient, but they found the avenue in all off the back of Rookie this game. Showing about finding that last engage, but Rookie did all the heavy lifting, and they're going to be able to finish this one off.
Yeah, you can see Zoom trying to see if he can kill him off, but I don't even think he's going to be able to do that, as finally the Nexus goes down in what was a tentative 2-1 series for V5. And honestly, still a hell of a lot to work on for their bout against Top Esports next week.
Yeah, I mean, Ultra Prime pushed them to the limit. Ultra Prime made them work for that win. So, I mean, overall, like, for Ultra Prime, I feel like that's a fair showing for where you're at. You made
sure.
V5 work for it. For V5, still has us scratching our heads a little bit and kind of leaves us in the same place where we started today, right? That it all ends up back to Rookie, which, again, it works. Like, it gets you wins. Rookie's good enough to do that, but Sadly, I mean, still going to need to do a little bit of soul searching to be able to beat top esports, but nice to see the players of V5 still being in high spirits, realizing a win is a win. Nothing you can do about what happened in the server. Go back, review, and, you know, move on to the next one.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing right now is that there's plenty to work on. And of course, you take the W right now. It still keeps you in contention for that top 2. I will say that might go away very quickly if JDG are able to win later on today, but it still keeps you in that conversation at the bare minimum. So good stuff here from the side of V5. Keep themselves going. And honestly, I think Ultra Prime can be proud of that. I think we saw a lot of good things. I think this, I will say that last fight was a bit anticlimactic. It just felt like Elk got caught, and all of a sudden the game was over.
I mean, that's what it was, right? Elk got caught, and every other fight, they were able to keep him alive. They're skirting around fights. Cryin was being this distraction. We saw Zoom doing a nice job. But in the last one, we finally saw the trigger pull come out from XLB, flash into the Cyclone, able to get right on top of him because he's just kind of left by himself right in the middle of the fight, and they get it. So V5 identifying their win condition, it's like, hey, we're kind of playing slow. We're standing off. Rookie's constantly like playing in fog of war in these angles, and we wait for the moment where Elk is isolated. So at the end of the day, right, able to execute on their game plan is all you can ask for. Yeah,
I mean, it worked in the end of course, and I think the big thing is now is that there are some very, very obvious weaknesses coming out now from the side of V5, and it's going to be curious to see how they're able to change them up going into the playoffs. You know, of course, they have got a massive, honestly, just a temperature check. They're not going to get less than top 4. They might be able to get top 2 if they're able to kind of get the right results in their hands, but it's not, unfortunately, in their control. So I want to see what they're able to do against top esports. Again, they're the best team in the league at the moment. #1 in the standings, have lost 1 series at the start of the split and gone on a 13-win streak. That one's the big one for me. And I think coming out of this series, I think that both Ultra Prime can be happy. I think V5 can be happy they got the win, but definitely a lot to work on as they move forward.
I think for V5, right, we keep talking about this matchup with TES. They shouldn't be expected to win. Like, top esports look that good. It's possible because V5 still have, like, caliber players who can contend. But I think the good thing for V5 is the fact that, okay, even if you lose that, like we've said, they're locked into top 4. So you have a bit of time between when playoffs start and when you have to play, right? Because you get a few rounds of buys. So hopefully having enough time to be able to lock it in is, this was a game.
This is a game which was played on the LPL server. That's how I always kind of see these ones here. And yeah, I mean, like, look at Rookie's damage right there. He really was just everywhere he needed to be, and still showing just how powerful this Ahri pick can be given the right situations. I think the thing that always surprises me about Rookie, or specifically Rookie on Ahri, is that Ahri isn't considered your hyper damage late game, you know, see champions and burn them down, but Rookie makes it feel like that. Rookie just finds the damage that he needs to do.
I mean, think about it. Rookie makes Orianna this champion that finds like 5 solo kills a game. Like, this guy can do anything. These numbers are crazy. And like, you're right, Ahri, not one of like the highest damage mid lane assassins we have. I remember back in spring playoffs, Ox was showing us this video of like Ahri full comboing, you know, a Jhin in the late game. And Jhin survives. Jhin survives and
with
get away.
With like a quarter of his HP as well, so it's like not even close.
Just totally vibing. So, but Rookie was able to find it, and we saw a lot of it was him skirting around those fights. That one particularly in mid lane, in the mid game, where he like goes in, picks off the Lulu, able to keep dancing around. I believe the second person he finished off maybe was Hacker.